Welcome to the Rise of the Trades podcast, the show dedicated to helping you to build, grow, and scale your trades or construction business. All rise for your host, Craig Wilkinson.
Welcome to this week's coaching episode of the Rise of the Trades podcast, where we help trades and construction business owners to skyrocket leads, explode net profits without having to graft 60 hours a week and becoming that busy fool. In this episode, I'm going to be teaching you how self-employed tradesmen and women can grow their business without burnout, without overwhelm, and without all that confusion on where the hell do I start. But before we go there, could I just ask you a quick favour? And that is, if you're getting value from my podcast episodes, could I please ask you to consider hitting the follow or subscribe button on whatever platform you're listening to this episode on right now. And the reason being is, the more people that I can get to follow the podcast, the more the algorithm will push our episodes out to more tradespeople, helping them to build, grow, scale, and even sell their businesses. Now, let's transition over to this week's episode. I want to start off today's episode a little differently, because this one has been recorded very deliberately. Over the last few weeks, I've had conversations with many trades business owners that are all at complete different stages of their journey. And what's interesting is, although the circumstances look different on the surface, but underneath, they're all struggling with the exact same thing. I've spoken to people that have recently set up their business. They've left their employment, they've gone self-employed, or they've launched their own limited company. They're excited, but also overwhelmed. And they don't know what to focus on first. Craig, do I focus on the marketing, the pricing, the systems, social media, websites, Google My Business? They're trying to do everything, and because of that, they're not actually moving anything forward. I've spoken to established business owners and they're just not busy. For some reason, the phone's gone quiet. Enquiries have dropped and slowed down. And what starts to happen now? Panic stations start to kick in. They're worrying about cash flow, covering their overheads, keeping the lads busy, paying the bills. And instead of clarity, they're bouncing around from one idea to another, hoping that something sticks. And I've also spoken to many of our Growth Club and Inner Circle members that are absolutely chock-a-block with work. The diary's rammed. They're turning work away. And on the outside, everything looks great. But behind the scenes, they're exhausted. They're stressed. They're firefighting every day. And they're trapped on the tools with no time to actually spend running the business properly. Three very different situations, yet the same conversations keep cropping up. Craig, I just don't know where to start. Craig, I'm feeling overwhelmed and overworked. I know what I should be doing, but for whatever reason, Craig, I'm not doing it. I'm busy. It's great. On surface, my business looks like it's growing, but I'm out of control. The business is controlling me. Or I'm quiet and I don't know how to fix it. And that's the bit I want you to hear. Because wherever you are on your journey, whether you are brand new to business, or you're struggling to gain work, or you're absolutely stacked out with jobs, overwhelm doesn't discriminate. Burnout doesn't discriminate, or lack of clarity and vision of where you're going in your business doesn't discriminate. The problem isn't how busy you are. The problem is the direction and clarity of where you're going. And what's made this worse recently is literally the amount of noise within our industry, because there's always more content. There's content out there. There's more content that you can shake a stick at. right? There's more opinions, there's more strategies, there's more tools, more software, more AI, more strategies being thrown at you on a daily basis. And instead of helping, it's actually paralysing people and stopping them in the tracks because there's just too much overwhelm out there. And I see so many people trying to, let's say, build a website before they understand who the target market is and getting the foundations in place. I see people trying to make more profit without understanding the numbers and the overheads in the business. I see people hiring because they're busy, but then they've got no systems in place to help the team run the business, or they're trying to use AI before they've nailed the basics. Everyone's trying to fix the wrong thing at the wrong time in the wrong order. They need someone to say, right, start here, then do this, then move forward and do that. So, if instead of recording another episode that adds more noise to what you might have already got, I've decided to press pause and do something different. So this episode exists because I keep seeing people at every stage of business making the same mistakes, trying to move forward without solid foundations or clarity. And I know for a fact that the solutions and the answers to all of the challenges that you've got in your business already exist in these podcast episodes. They're just not being revisited or listened to in the right order or properly implemented and people taking action on what they're actually learning. So in this episode, I've looked at the, let's say, top 5 areas of business that I know people might have challenges with right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you the 5 areas of business that you need to be focusing on. But what I'm going to do is, for each of the 5 areas, I'm going to give you 2 podcast episodes that I know that if you've got challenges, obstacles or hurdles in any one of these 5 areas, the 2 podcasts that I'm going to recommend in each area is 100% where you need to start and will definitely help you. Now, you might say, well, hang on a minute, Craig, if there's 5 areas and you're going to give me 5 areas and 2 episodes in each area, you're giving me 10 podcast episodes that I need to listen to. Is this not defeating objects of all the noise? Well, it is if you're going to listen to all 10 repeatedly, one after another, without taking action. The whole point of me of dividing this into 5 main key areas of business is I know for sure wherever you are on your journey, you will be having challenges in one of these 5 areas. So yes, I want you to listen to the entire episode. And yes, I want you to make notes of the 10 podcasts that I'm going to share with you. But what I want you to then do is just go and get laser focused on one of those areas. Listen to the 2 podcasts, not 10. Listen to the 2 podcasts within that specific business area. Then roll your sleeves up, get your head down and get stuck into implementing those 2 podcast strategies only for the main area that you feel you're struggling in. Then once you've got that nailed, you then can come back to this episode and go, right, the next area that I was struggling in is this. Right, all I've got to do is go and listen to these 2 episodes and implement that. Are you with me? So I'm starting off with the wider view of these are the 5 main areas that trades businesses struggle with. I'm giving you 2 episodes for each area. All you've got to do is listen to them 2 and get stuck in. That's it. So there should be no overwhelm. There should be nobody paralysed with there's too much to do. Just get your head down and do the 2 things that I'm sharing in each one of these episodes. Are you with me? So grab your notepads, your pens, your tablets, make notes of the 5 areas and the 10 episodes. And then it's over to you then to just stop the noise and implement the 2 podcast episodes into your business. Are you ready? Let's get stuck in. So the first area of business that we're going to tackle, and this is the single most important area of business. Write this down. Mindset and personal development. Mindset and personal development. Now, hear me out on this one. Because if you are an established business, or you're a Growth Club or Inner Circle member, or you've been listening to these podcasts for some time, you will know that I talk about mindset and personal development being the key to unlock all of your success. If you are new to business, you might listen to this part and go, nah, I don't need that, Craig. I can just crack on without it. No, trust me. This underpins everything. And one of the biggest questions I get asked more than anything is, Craig, honestly, please tell me, how did you go from that ultimate busy fool, stressed out, overworked, skin broke, working 90 hours a week, 17 members of staff, turning over millions of pounds, but making no money? How did you go from that ultimate busy fool to building, growing, scaling and selling your business, setting you and your family up for life, establishing and founding the Trades Freedom Club, become Yorkshire's Businessman of the Year, being on Fixed Radio as their business and marketing coach? How do you get to interview and hang around with people like Ant Middleton and Charlie Mullins? How have you stood on 500 stages and coached over 30,000 tradesmen and women? How have you achieved time and financial freedom? Please tell me. And I say, right, write this down. I had a shift in mindset. And they'll look at me gone out and go, no, just tell me how to make money, how to work less hours, how to systemize my business, how to stop my team from taking the piss, Craig. Just tell me how to do that. And I'm saying, I'm telling you, it's mindset and personal development. You see, you cannot take your business to places that you've never taken it to with the knowledge, the motivation, the drive, and the bad habits that you've picked up along your way. Something has to change. And what needs to change is not your business, it's you. You are the problem. You are the obstacle. You are the hurdle in your own business. There are people out there that are in the exact same trade as you right now that I'm sure you look at to aspire to be like. And they do, they inspire you. I remember when I was back on tools back in 1994, when I first set up my joinery business, I'd look at other joinery companies and go, I want to be like them. Now, the difference between them and me back then wasn't the ability to do the job on the tools. I was as good, maybe better than some of these other businesses. But what they had got is they had got more experience. They got more wool on the back. And how did they get that wool on the back? It weren't by luck. It was by them investing into themselves and into new strategies that I wasn't implementing. And that's how they grow the business. But for you to be able to implement new strategies, first of all, you've got to change. And you know what my popular phrase is, the business is never the problem is always the mindset of the business owner. If we can shift and change our mindset, we can shift and change your business. So what you've got to do is you've got to work on you. Because if your business is in control of these three things, right? Let me write these down. Number one, if your business is now controlling your finances. In other words, if your business is dictating to you how much you pay yourself, when you pay yourself, and you've not achieved financial freedom yet, and your business is in control of the money that you take out of your business, and let's face it, a lot of trades business owners are barely breaking even, never mind making a profit, and a lot of them are in debt because they don't understand the numbers in the business. So if your business controls your profit and your finances, or number two, your business is controlling your time. In other words, you're working stupid hours, you're working late evenings and weekends because you're busy, and you're doing everything manually in your business. So therefore, you haven't got enough time for you, your family, your hobbies, your friends, socialising, doing what you want to do because your business controls your time. Or you're the other way, you've got too much time on your hands because you haven't implemented the right strategies into your business to get busy. Or, write this down, 3, people own you. People own your relationships, like your customers are dictating to you what they want and what you can and can't do. For instance, they're ringing you at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night and you're still answering your phone. Or your team are controlling your relationship and they're demanding this and demanding that. And therefore you don't want to sack them because you can't find anyone to replace them. All this lot are signs that your business is controlling you. And when your business is controlling you, you will never grow it. The only time you're going to get to be able to scale your business and grow it, achieving time and financial freedom and owning all them relationships, is when you personally are in front of the business and you are dragging the business behind you. But for you to get in front of the business, you've got to change who you are. You've got to change your behaviours and your habits. And to do that, we need to introduce things like new morning routines, new evening routines. We've got to start investing into things like fitness, health, well-being, healthy mind, healthy body. Being mindful of what we're putting into our body. Everything from your diet and your nutrition, cutting down on alcohol, getting to the gym, doing some exercising. We've got to be constantly feeding our mindsets on a daily basis with 2 types of content. Motivational content that's going to fire us up to run through brick walls to get to where we want to be, but also educational content like this podcast where you're learning new strategies, but because then you're motivated to take action on them, you're going to get results. So there's so many things that we've got to work on, as in us, to be able to get in front of the business and pull the business and drag the business up to our speed. But if it's the other way around and you don't feel in control of your business and you've got gut-wrenching feeling, you're worried and you're stressed, you've got anxiety, you don't know what to do, you know, you're not busy enough or you're too busy or you've got your team taking the piss, all this lot is saying to me that you are not in control of your business. So the first thing that you've got to do is develop your mindset and your personal development. Because when you open yourself up and develop a growth mindset and you invest into yourself and you become the ultimate business owner that's fired up, motivated, you're looking after yourself, you look good, you feel good, you've got energy, nothing's going to stop you, then what will happen is when you listen to these episodes, you will implement what you're learning, therefore you'll get a result. But you can't get a different result if you're going to keep doing the same thing as you're doing now. Because what you're doing now has brought you to where you are today, but it's never going to get you to where you want to be because you're going to run out of motivation, you're going to run out of knowledge. So to get that, you've got to change. For things to change, you have to change, or all you'll ever have in your pocket is change. The business is not the problem. With respect, you're the problem, so you need to fix and change yourself. Make sense? So to do that, if you are feeling like the business controls you, if you are feeling like that you have got either too much time on your hands because you're not busy, or you're too busy and you're rushing around like a blue-horse fly spinning plates and firefighting, or you're not earning the money that you should be earning, you need to develop yourself. Forget about everything else. You're the problem. So what I want you to do is I want you to go and check out these 2 podcast episodes that will definitely help you if this is what's going off. The first one is episode number 9, and then straight after that it's episode number 10. And in those 2 podcast episodes, I give you the strategy on what you need to be doing and implementing to shift and change everything. Everything from your morning routine, your daily routine, your evening routine, gratitude journals, meditation, affirmations, listening to motivational and educational content, looking at your fitness, your health, your well-being, your diet, your nutrition. Stop, quit alcohol like I've done, or reduce the amount of alcohol. Get some me time. Spend some time on you. Pick up your new hobbies that make you happy in life. All this lot, most business owners give up on because the business controls them and starts to control the time, and therefore the motivation levels drop. And all of a sudden, when we used to go and play five-a-side football with lads on a Tuesday, that's disappeared. That's gone because your business is now controlling your time. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's episode number 9 and 10. The second area of business we're going to focus on is your marketing strategy. Write it down, your marketing strategy. And let's face it, this is an absolute beast. You see, when it comes to marketing, your marketing will never, ever stop. You never get it to a point where you think, right, I've got everything in place and therefore I don't really need to do anything else because what I've got in place is working. Well, that might work for a short amount of time. But as we know, there's always new strategies. There's always new technology that's been released. So, for example, right now, we all know that AI is the buzzword. We all know that we should be investing into things like AI or landing pages and automated funnels that we build and we teach you to build. All that is like modern cutting edge strategies. But the challenge is, because marketing is such a vast area, with the limited time that we've got to spend and invest into marketing, we find that we're diluting as time. Because we know that we need a website. We know that we should be on social media. We know we should be getting reviews on Google My Business. We know we should be building these landing pages and lead magnets. We know that we should be doing magazine articles, leaflet drops, checker trade, paid advertising, video marketing, podcasts. You keep telling us all this, Craig, but we haven't got time to do it all. So where the hell do we start with all this lot? So I'm going to suggest 2 podcast episodes that I want you to start on when it comes to marketing. And honestly, this doesn't matter whether you are chock-a-block with work now, because if you are, then clearly something's working well. But what we need to do is we need to make sure that we're implementing both of these strategies that I'm going to share with you now into your marketing, because this is the future. This is where it's all at. And if we get these wrong, then everything else is going to come collapsing down around us. All right? So the first place that I'm going to ask you to start when it comes to your marketing, regardless of where you are on your journey, I want you to go and check out episode number 20. Episode 20. And the reason why I'm sharing this is, on my inner circle, we spent 5 full months, 5 months consistently working on marketing strategy. That's how big marketing is. We cover everything. But the very first thing that we cover right at the beginning of month number 1, the very first thing that we talk about is your branding. Because if you get your branding wrong, your branding then underpins everything that you're doing with your marketing. And so many trades business owners have got their branding wrong. In fact, I've got a stat for you here, and this is a proven stat. I can prove this and back it up. And I'll share with you how I'm going to back this up. We've got stats to say that 7 out of 10, 70%, in other words, out of 100 people, 70 of them have got the wrong brand, but they don't even know it. And I'll tell you why I can back these stats up. Because last year, we rebranded 52 trades businesses, right? That's 1 a week. 52 trades businesses we rebranded. And when we look at the amount, our conversion rate, if you like, of the amount of brands that we review compared to how many we turn around and said, you know what, you do not have to rebrand, you've nailed it, you've got it spot on, compared to the ones where we turn around and say, you need to rebrand. We got the stats to prove that 70%, in other words, 7 out of 10 rebrands that we review, 7 of them have to rebrand. So we've got the facts, we've got the figures. I'm not just plucking these out of fresh air. And the thing is with branding is, let's start, there's 3 different types of brands. Write these down. Number 1, there's your business brand. And your business brand is the name of your business, the fonts, the colours, the logo, the symbol, the strap line that you've got in your business name. And 7 out of 10 trades businesses have got the wrong name, they've got the wrong fonts, they've got the wrong colours, they've got the wrong symbol, they've got the wrong logo. Now, they don't know this because how are they supposed to know? Because most people, when it comes to branding, they came up with their own name for the business. And many people, when you start off, me included, back in the day, back in 1994, I set up as Craig Wilkinson, joinery and building contractor. And I put my name into the business. Some of that is because it's ego. Some of it is because it's the small, self-employed mindset that, I've got my own business, so I'll put my name or initials into it. And listen, I'm not telling you that that's wrong. I'm saying statistics tell us that that's wrong. We've got facts again to back this up. I don't believe that anybody should have their initials like CW Joinery or their name or the kids' names or an abbreviation of the kids' names or whatever you're going to do in a business name, because that makes it too personal, that makes it egotistical, and that makes you look small fry. Right? Makes them look like you're a one-man band and you've got to be answering the phone, dealing with every email, looking at every job, surveying every job, pricing every job, being on the tools on every job. You're going to struggle to scale your business if it's just your name wrapped around it. So what I'm saying is, number 1, you've got your business brand that needs to be looked at. And if your business brand looks a bit cheap, looks a bit amateurish, it's been done on a shoestring budget by somebody that's not had decades of experience in marketing and branding like we've got, then the likelihood is you're going to do what I did back in the day and choose a name and a brand that makes you look small fry, cheap, and therefore what you're going to attract, you're going to attract lots of time wasters and tire kickers, and the people that have got the money and the people that want the work doing, they're going to go somewhere else because they're going to look at your brand and go, these look a bit like cheap one-man band. I'm going to find them in pub on a Friday afternoon. We've got to get away from that. Number 2 is your personal brand. And what I mean by your personal brand is you are more important or as important now to your business than what your name of your business is or your logo is. Because let's face it, most people are going to find you now on things like your website, your landing pages, and on social media. So they know it's you. They see a video of you on social media. They see a post that you've put on your LinkedIn or Facebook profile, so they can see the profile of you. They know who you are before they know the name of your business. You're with me? So your personal brand, you've got to get out there everywhere. You cannot be a nameless, faceless company anymore. People don't want to deal with faceless companies. And again, you look at personal branding, and when we review websites, we look at your website, and again, the vast majority of business owners haven't even got an introduction video of themselves on the website. They haven't got photographs of themselves or the team and introducing the team members on the website. They haven't even got images of real jobs of their team with a logoed embroidered polo shirt on, fitting whatever they're doing. They're using stock images or even worse, AI generated images on the website. Where's the personal branding coming into it? People don't want to deal with faceless AI people. They want to deal with you. They want to know who they're speaking to. They want to know who's coming to their house or property or offices to do the work. Are you with me? They don't want a freaking AI-generated, good-looking plumber which I'm seeing loads of, all these AI generated images that you're all jumping on bandwagon of that look cartoonified. I mean, how amateurish and unprofessional, in my opinion, does that look? I mean, come on, this is your brand. And the third brand is what we call your brand authority. In other words, how do we connect your business brand, in your name, your fonts, your colours, your strapline, your logo, to your personal brand? You. What's the bit in the middle that connects it? That's your brand authority. How many awards have you won? How many reviews have you got? How many video testimonials have you got on your website? How many accreditations have you got? All this lot is building brand authority. I can say that I've stood on over 500 stages. I've coached over 30,000 tradesmen and women. I've won Yorkshire's Businessman of the Year and numerous awards. That I am on Fixed Radio's their business and marketing coach. All this lot is building my authority in business. What's building yours? Now, you've got to understand that this is the first thing that your customers and potential customers are going to see. They're either going to see a post of you on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or LinkedIn or Threads or X. They're going to see you. They're then going to see your business brand maybe on your website. And if all that lot looks a bit cheapish, a bit amateurish, using AI-generated images, there's no photographs of you on your website, there's no video introduction of you on your website, you've got no video testimonials on your website, you're not pulling your 1,000 5-star reviews and the most rated trades business in your area onto your website, right? There's no personal brand there. There's no authority there. And if you get that wrong, it doesn't matter how much you spend or invest into your marketing on other things. If your brand is wrong, everything that's stacked on top of it is going to hamper the growth of your business. Are you with me? So you've got to make sure that you've got your branding right. To do that, I want you to go and listen to episode number 20. Because in episode number 20, I teach you how to build your business brands. The 3 brands that I've just shared with you now, I go through in detail how to build that and get the foundations of your marketing right. So that's episode number 20. But on top of that, we've also got to think about your marketing as in the attract strategy. And what I mean by your attract strategy is all the different types of marketing methods or strategies that you're doing right now to generate leads. And again, I've got numbers and stats to back this up. Now, we teach 20 different marketing strategies within the Trades Freedom Club, right? Because we know the top 20 different ways to market a trades or construction business that's guaranteed to work. But in all honesty, when we run through this exercise on my inner circle, it materializes that out of the 20 different strategies, the average amount that a trades business will be currently doing is just 4 out of those 20. Just 4 things out of those 20. And these 4 generally are things such as social media, because we know that most trades businesses are on social media. The problem is they haven't got a social media strategy. So they're banging random posts out at random time to a random target market that doesn't even want to buy that product or service. So we know you're all doing social media. The other thing is websites. The vast majority of trades businesses have got websites. But in reality, those websites don't generate an avalanche of vetted, qualified leads every single day. Why? Because they've not got a website strategy. We know that a lot of trades rely on things like Checker Trade or Which Trusted Trader or these directories. But we also know that these directories can attract time wasters and tire kickers. And the fourth most popular strategy that trades have used or have attempted is paid advertising. Whether that's a boosted post on Facebook or Instagram ads or Google ads or Google guaranteed, right? A lot of trades businesses have tried that and then they've gone, it's not worked. I've just lost $2,000. Yeah, because you've not got a paid ad strategy. Are you with me? So we know that most trades businesses are doing these types of marketing, including things like leaflet drops or advertising in local church magazine. We know what you're doing, but you're not doing enough. There's 20 different things that you should be doing, not 4 to attract your customers to your business in the highest concentration. So to find out what those 20 are, I want you to go and listen to episode number 98. Because in episode 98, I give you the top 20 ways that you need to be marketing your trades or construction business. And what you need to be doing is you need to be looking at the ones that you're not doing and bolting them on. Because we say on average, to get to the holy grail of time and financial freedom within your business, we say that you need to be doing at least 15 of those 20 strategies to get your business to where it wants to be. Because if you're just going to rely on the same 4, 5, maybe 6 as everybody else, you're no different to everyone else. You're all fishing in the same ponds. You're all doing the same type of marketing. But for those that are prepared to do things that other people aren't prepared to do, for example, why don't you all have a podcast? Honestly, if I were a trades business again, if I were to set up another trades business, one of the first things I'd do is set up a podcast. Because think about it, the personal branding, if you're listening to this episode now or any of my past episodes, you're getting to know Craig Wilkinson. You're building up a relationship with me. I'm building that know, like, trust and confidence in you through this podcast. That's building authority. That's building my personal brand. That's building the Trades Freedom Club as a business's brand with you through this podcast. Why haven't you got a podcast? Are you with me? If you were to have a podcast, I'm telling you now, you would differentiate yourself from all your competitors in your local area and you start cleaning up. But how many people are prepared to do that? Do you get what I'm saying? So when we do the things that other people aren't prepared to do, then we'll get a better result. But if all we're going to do is the same crappy tactic marketing that our competitors are doing, what makes you different to everybody else? Nothing. What's going to make you stand out over everybody else? Nothing. You've got to be prepared to do things that other people aren't prepared to do in business. And one of them is implementing these 15 to 20 different strategies into your business. So that's episode number 98. The third area of business that we're going to look at and work on is I'm going to combine 2 areas because they fit hand in glove. And that is, number 1 is time management, because most businesses, when they become established, end up running out of time. There's just not enough time in the day to get everything done, which then leads us to staying up till 10 o'clock at night, doing all this paperwork, as invoicing, as pricing, as books, as accounts, dealing with emails and all that lot at 10 o'clock at night, when you should be spending time with your family, or you should be spending time at the gym or playing football or whatever hobby you've got. But no, we sacrifice all that, don't we, to become a busy fool. Or we're behind on jobs, so what do? I'll have to work a Saturday to catch up. Now we're working 6 days a week. Listen, I'm sure you didn't set up your business to be working 6 days a week and working till 10 o'clock at night. That's just got being a prisoner in your own business row all over it, haven't you? That's where I was, the ultimate busy fool, working 80, 90 hours a week, earning no money, right? So if time's an issue, we're going to combine that with another area of business, which is, write this down, it's systems. Systems. Because let me tell you now, when you implement systems into your business, it's going to bring you the biggest amount of time back. Now, systems don't just generate time. There's a lot more benefits to implementing systems into your business. But ultimately, we're putting systems in place to, number one, save our time. Number two, so we can delegate the running of our systems to somebody else, which then moves over to step number three, which then puts us in a position to scale, to grow. But here lies the problem. If you look at me being that ultimate busy fool, the reason why I was the ultimate busy fool is because I was doing everything manually. And I mean this, but I almost had what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not going to say it's an excuse because it weren't back then, but it's different today because in 1994, when I set up my joinery and building company, we didn't have software. We didn't have apps. We didn't have AI. We didn't have ServiceMate. We didn't have Leadzilla. We didn't have these online tools that can do it all for us in today's day and age. When I look back then in 1994, something called a website had just been designed, and these things called websites on this thing called the World Wide Web were just being invented. We didn't have social media. We didn't have anything. So back then, think about this. My quotes I had to do on a typewriter. You've probably never even seen one. You had to put a ribbon in and you had to press keys like a laptop, but it were a typewriter. And I had to type out my quotes. And if I made a spelling mistake, which I did on a frequent basis because I'm hopeless at spelling and reading and writing, I used to have to get Tipp-Ex out and put Tipp-Ex on and then blow it until it dried and then type over it. We didn't have emails had just come on scene actually back then, but most of the quotes I had to do, I had to post. I had to put them in an envelope, write on envelope, stick a stamp on, walk to post box and post them. Right? That's what we were dealing with back then. Word documents had just come out. Something called Excel had just come out. But back then, when I was starting my business, I didn't know all this. I weren't educated on technology. I was just a joiner from Sheffield. I didn't have the money to buy something called a computer. I was doing everything manually. Yet here we are, 30 odd years later, 3 decades later, and still some of you are doing all your quotes and your paperwork and your invoicing and your health and safety and your pricing. You're doing it all manually. Yeah, you might be using Excel or a Word document or Google Drives, but in today's day and age, when we've got dedicated technology that will run your job management for you, that will deal with all your marketing and sales leads for you, and do it all on autopilot without you having to do anything, what the hell are you messing about at? So, systems, by implementing the right systems into your business, not only is it going to save you time and you're going to win back your evenings and your weekends, but then the system starts to run the business. In other words, you've got all of how your business runs out of your head and you've got it into a system or multiple systems that are all talking to each other. What that then allows us to do then is delegate the running of that system to another member of staff. This could be an admin person, it could be a virtual assistant, but they're going to run the systems for you. And then all of a sudden, you're not doing your own pricing. You're not writing your own quotes, proposals or estimates. You're not doing your own bookkeeping. You're not doing your own invoicing. You're not doing your own health and safety. Somebody else is doing that for you, which is now freeing up even more of your time. And when the business starts to run without you having to do everything in it, you've then delegated what we call the low-value tasks to somebody else. Low-value tasks are things that you're doing as the owner of the business or the director of your business that you shouldn't be doing, because we can get someone else to do that far cheaper and quicker and more professional than what you can do. You're not an admin person, are you? You've become an admin person to run your business, but you're not an admin person. That's not your skill set. What your skill set is, number one, being on the tools and making money, and number two, becoming a businessman and woman to get off the tools, let other people make you the money while you grow your business. But you can't do that without the systems. Does this make sense? So once you've got everything out of your head, put into a system, somebody else you teach how to run the system, how to price your jobs, how to do your invoicing, how to do all your bookkeeping, how to respond to emails. Somebody else does all that low value task work. What you then do is you're now focusing on the high value tasks. In other words, how can we start to implement more of those 20 different marketing strategies? How can we set up a podcast? How can we set up a YouTube channel to start generating more leads? Because our competitors aren't doing that. How can we look at the numbers and start to get as gross and net profit margins up? All that lot is the high value task work that a business owner should be doing. Business owners shouldn't be sending emails and answering their own flipping phone when you can get people to do that for you. Are you with me? So you've got to start to put the systems in place. And let me tell you now, that's not a 5-minute job. To put a system into your business takes time. You've got to learn the system yourself. You've got to learn how it works. You've got to build the system out. You've got to test the system. You've then got to delegate that system. It's not a 5-minute job. It does take time. But when you've got tools, write this down, such as Leadzilla, write down Leadzilla. Leadzilla is a marketing and sales piece of software that will do everything. You can build websites in it. You can build landing pages in it. You can build vetting forms to vet your customers in it. You can set up survey appointment calendars so your customers can book appointments at the times that you set. It can trigger automated emails and texts and WhatsApps. It's got AI bots that will respond back to WhatsApps and text messages as though it's you. You can schedule your social media posts to be triggered and sent out through it. It does everything. And then once the leads have come in and you've turned that job into a sale, a paying customer, we can then put all that information into a piece of software called ServiceMate. And ServiceMate then will manage the project, the job. It'll help you organise your labour, your materials. It'll communicate with your customer without you having to do anything. Now, if you're interested in starting a free trial on either Leadzilla or ServiceMate, if you look in the show notes and the description of this episode, I've linked them up so you can get extended free trials. Go and check them out. So the 2 podcast episodes I want you to listen to that's going to help you with all this is, number 1, I want you to listen to episode number 64. Because in episode 64, I interview the founder of Flow State, which is a ServiceMate partner, Jamie Curtin. And me and Jamie are discussing how to systemize your trades business to win back your time using the piece of software called ServiceMate. So that's episode number 64. I then want you to go and listen to episode number 102. And that is where I'm teaching you how to build an automated marketing and sales funnel that will look after all of your marketing, all of your leads, all of your sales inside Leadzilla. Go and check out episode number 102. Now let's move over to the 4th area of business that we're going to cover. And that is cash and finance. That is your finances within your business, right? Write it down, finances. Now, here lies the challenge for most trades businesses. And honestly, I fell into this trap big time, which is why I had mega cash flow problems back in the day. Why I were always skint, why I were paying me subbies more than I were paying myself. While sometimes I'd get to the end of an 8-week project that we'd be working on, and I'd look and there'd be no money left in bank to pay me. And I'd have gone weeks and weeks and weeks without taking any money out of the business. Why? Because I had to pay my suppliers, I had to pay my subbies and my employees before I paid myself. So there were no money left in it. This is why I'd be using my VAT money as an overdraft, because I got no money and I had to pay VAT man 60 grand, let's say. But I'm having to use that 60 grand as an overdraft to bail me out. Are you with me? This is why a couple of bad days or a couple of bad weeks, whether on a job, or I knew straight away I'm losing money. I'm losing money on that job. Why? Because I wasn't pricing the jobs correctly. In fact, I didn't know how to price jobs correctly. Here's how I used to price jobs, honestly. This is how naive I used to be. I used to work out how long I thought time were going to take. And I go, right, I'm paying me subbies. And you've got to remember, this is back in 90s, right? When I was that ultimate busy fool. So it might have been, we're paying our joiners, let's say, 70 quid a day. So I go, right, I've got a joiner and it's 10 days work for a joiner at 70 quid a day. So this is how I used to price jobs. Well, it's going to cost me 700 quid in labour. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just stick another 300 quid. I'll stick 300 quid in and I'll put my labour in at 1,000 quid. That way, if job comes in on time, I've made 300 quid on joiner. So I'll stick 300 quid on. Then I'd look at my materials and I go, oh, do you know what? I'm looking at these materials here and could I get them a bit cheaper? Could I get priced down? So I priced my materials to the absolute penny. I'd had nothing on for contingency, nothing on for wastage and nothing on for, not allowing enough materials. So I'd be tight on that. So now I've got my labour and I've got my materials. Then this is what I used to do. How much would I pay for this job? And I'd look at it and I go, well, I think I pay this amount for it. So that means I could stick another 600 quid profit on top. Does 600 sound quite right? I look at it, looks a bit high that. I'll tell you what, I'll not stick 600 quid on, I'll stick 300 quid on. I'll knock 300 quid off at quote and I'll stick it in at that. That's how I used to price jobs. Is there any wonder when you've got like 15, 16, 17 members of staff with subbies on and you're pricing jobs like that? Is there any wonder that I were losing money hand over fist? Is there any wonder that I were paying me subbies more than I were paying myself? That we would do like an 8, 9, 10 week job and I won't take a penny off the job. I'd do it, get to end at job and I've lost money. It's crazy. But do you know what? The amount of people that price like that, it's unbelievable. So what we've got to understand when it comes to finances is that we have to understand the numbers in our business. We need to understand how to price a job correctly. How do you work out your hourly rate correctly? Because it's not just what you pay your staff plus a bit extra on top, is it? If you've got employed staff, you've got national insurance that's constantly going up due to government increases. You've then got holiday pay, you've got sick pay. If you've got an employed member of staff, they should have a pension that you contribute into. So when you start adding this up, having an employed member of staff now costs you a few quid. Same with a subbie. You're not just paying a subbie what you're paying them. Who's insured for that job? If something goes wrong on that job, is it the subbie's insurance that's covering you? Is it your insurance that's covering you? How do you work all that out to get an hourly rate that you can charge? Most people don't even know how to do that. Then on top of that, once you've got your hourly rate, How do you work your materials out correctly? What do you add on as a percentage for wastage on your materials, or a bit extra just in case prices go up? Then when you get them two figures, how do you bring your overhead contribution into it? Because let's face it, you've got overheads, you've got running costs in your business. Them running costs have got to be factored in to your either hourly rate or a day rate or a job rate. So if your overheads are, let's say, 12 grand a year, that's £1,000 a month. That's £250 a week. That's £50 a day that you've got to be adding on to your price, because that's what it costs you to run your business. But we don't just want to put in 50 quid a day, because that means if our bills go up, we're now losing money. So how do you work the overhead contribution out plus extra percentage to make sure that if your mobile phone bill goes up, or your gas or your water or your rent or your HP or whatever you're paying on your vans goes up, you're not out of pocket? How do you do that? And then once you've got your labour, your materials and your overhead, how do you work out what your margins are? How much profit you need to add on to the job? What's your gross profit? Do you actually know what your gross profit means? What's your net profit before tax? What's your net profit after tax? At the end of every job, are you running a profit and loss account to see how much money you've made or lost? Let's hope we're not losing, but how much money we've made on the job. Have you got 4 bank accounts set up? One's your current account, one's your VAT account, one's your tax account, and one's your savings account. So every time you get paid off an invoice or a customer, you have to split that money up and put them into separate accounts. Because if you've got all the money coming into one current account, some months you'll look at your bank account and you'll go, I'm loaded. But then by the time you've paid your materials that month and you've paid your labour that month, and it's end of January and you've paid your self-assessment tax return, and then February your VAT's due, you then look at your bank account, you've got nothing in it. Sweet FA in it. That's because you do not understand the numbers in your business. How can you build a profitable business that's going to look after you and your family for the rest of your life if you don't understand the flipping numbers in your business? It's crazy. So if you need help with finances, you've got cash flow problems, you don't know any of what I've just shared with you, you need to get to grips on these 2 podcast episodes, all right? So the first one is number 18. 18. And this is the 15 cash flow disasters to avoid to stop losing money. So if you're not making good net profits, there's a reason for that, and it's got to be a cash flow. And in episode 18, I give you the 15 cash flow disasters that you need to avoid. And I guarantee, even if you're making money, you'll still be making some of these 15 cash flow mistakes. So I will go and listen to that to understand what these 15 cash flow disasters are. Then once you've done that, I want you to listen to episode number 61. Because in episode number 61, I interview Julie Robinson, an unbelievable, brilliant accountant who helps trades businesses to stop overpaying on your taxes and increase your profit margins. So in that episode, we talk about how to increase your profits and stop overpaying on your taxes. Because if you've got an accountant that you only speak to 2 or 3 times a year, and they are not advising you on things such as, if you're making profit, where to put your money, whether that's pensions or investments or assets like property, for instance, and go and buy a buy-to-let with it. They're not advising you on, like, you need to go and buy a car. I don't need another car. No, go and buy a car. Julie's my accountant. She contacted me last year. Seriously, straight up this. She says, Craig, you need to go and buy another car. I said, Julie, I don't need any more cars. I've got a beautiful car as it is. She says, yeah, but you've had it 2 years. I want you to go and buy another car. And if you don't go and buy another car, this is the amount of tax liability that you are going to have to pay HMRC if you don't go and spend some money. So what did I do? I went out and bought an £117,000 Range Rover Sport Hybrid. I've got the car now and I paid less tax. And now I'm driving around in another lovely motor. Or is your accountant doing this for you? Are they advising you on putting money into pensions and assets or property or buying things like laptops, computers, cars, whatever, so you're not overpaying on taxes? Because if you're not, and they're not doing monthly and quarterly management accounts with you, what are you paying them for? You don't pay an accountant to submit your self-assessment tax returns in your end-of-year accounts. You're paying your accountant to make your money and stop overpaying on taxes. You need to be working with an accountant. They're part of your team. So go and listen to episode number 64, where me and Julie are talking about all this, so that you can start to understand the numbers, how you can increase your profits, but at the same time not have to overpay on taxes. And the fifth area we're going to cover that is incredibly important when you're growing and scaling is, write this down, building the ultimate team. Building the ultimate team. And what you have to understand is you've only got 168 hours in a week. That's it. You ain't got any more than that. You ain't got any less than that. You've got the same as everybody else. But if your business is controlling you, it's controlling your time, your finances and your relationships, you'll be one of these that will get to the end of every week and you've got no time left. Once we have changed our mindset, got the right marketing strategy, generating those leads that then go into a system. The system is then helping us make the profit because we understand the numbers in our business. We've now got a well-oiled machine. But to scale it, we're going to need more team because you've only got 168 hours in a week. So we have to leverage other people's time. But here lies the problem. And again, I was the ultimate busy fool with this one. I just thought the busier I got, the more leads I got in, the more jobs I won, the more vans I had on the road, the more employed staff, the more subbies, the more jobs I were running, I used to think the more money I were going to make. And that's not how it works at all. Especially if you if you haven't got the first four things I've just shared with you in place. But what do? We set up this business, we get busy. Oh, I need an extra pair of hands. So what do? You employ someone. And this could be a general labourer, it might be an apprentice, it might be another tradesperson. And then now you've got two people working for you. There's you and someone else. Then what happens? You keep getting working. So what then do? Oh, this is great. Ego's kicking in. I've now got 3. Now I've now got 5. I've now got 10. I've now got 20 members of staff. Listen, if you don't bring in the staff at the right time and you don't bring those staff in to your rules of the game, then I'm sorry, you're going to end up with problems with your team. And we see this all too often where you bring a team in and they just can't do the basics. They're not using the software or the apps that you've provided. They're tossing it off on jobs. They're getting there late. They're leaving early. They're taking too long for lunch. They want babysitting. They're on phone every 5 minutes. They're ringing you up with daft questions. It's like babysitting grown-ass adults. And you can't get to that point. Because if you get to that point, you've now brought somebody in that should be saving you time and should be making you money. But in actual fact, they're costing you time and they're costing you money. So what's the point of employing them in the first place? Now, to get the right team, there is a strategy. I'm going to very quickly share what that strategy is, and then I'm going to move on to the 2 episodes. The strategy is this. Write these 4 things down. Number one, write down the word vision. Because when you bring a team in, you've got to share the vision of where you're taking the business with your team, even if that's an apprentice. Because if you're bringing this person in to help you achieve that vision quicker, do you not think that that person needs to know what that vision looks like and where the business is heading? How can they help you get to the vision if they don't know what that vision is? It doesn't make sense. But most business owners do not share the vision with the team because they're scared to death that if I share the vision, my team's going to nick the idea and run with it themselves. Listen, it's not going to happen. And even if it does, they've got to start a business from scratch. And you know how hard it is running a business. Number two, write this down. Mission. And what the mission is the how, as a team, collectively, we're going to get from where we are now to where we want to be. And that where we want to be is the vision. But how we're going to get there is the mission. And how you're going to get there, you're going to share with your team. And that could be, right, how we're going to get there is we're going to bring ServiceMate in. We're going to be introducing Leadzilla. We're going to bring in a VA in. I'm going to be outsourcing all the phone calls and the emails and the low-value tasks to somebody else. We're going to get somebody pricing the jobs. We're going to bring a marketing company in. I'm going to join Craig's Inner Circle at Growth Club. Are you with me? These are the stepping stones. These are the things that you need to do to get to where you want to be. But again, you need to share that with your team. Because if there's going to be positive changes happening in the business, the team need to be aware of these changes, don't they? Number three, write this down. Culture. And what I mean by this is, you as the business owner, you've got your own high standards, values, morals, and beliefs. Let me say it again. You've got high standards. You've got high morals. You've got high values and you've got high beliefs. This is how you run your business. And I'm sure you've said to yourself in the past, if I could only find another 5 of me, right? And I know you've said it because I've said it a million times. If I could only find another 5 of me, I could really take this business to that next level. Well, to find 5 of you, they have to abide by the same standards as you, the values as you, the morals as you, and the beliefs as you. Is that not right? If you want another 5 of you, then that's your value, standards, morals, beliefs. But here's what happens. We don't do that in a business. What we do is we bring somebody into our business and we just let them loose in the business. And they don't know what our standards are and our expectations are. They don't know what our values are. They don't know what our morals and our beliefs are. So they bring their own to the business. And therefore, there's a clash in culture because you're expecting this level of quality, this level of communication, this level of service, this level of politeness, this level of value. That's what you're expecting, but they're bringing something different because you've never took the time to explain to them that this is the culture in our business. And this is why most trades businesses have got employees or subbies that are negative, that are doom and gloom, that are whingers and moaners and bitches and whiners, because they're bringing their own standards, values, morals and beliefs and not yours to the business. But that's not their fault. That's your fault because you never took the time to establish these. And now you've got a negative culture or you've got some bad apples in your barrel that are starting to poison the rest of your team. Write this 4th one down. Number 4, rules of the game. The rules of the game. I want you to think of your business being like a sports game. I'm just going to choose football because that's the sport that I follow. But listen, whatever sport you're into, rugby, badminton, tennis, whatever, you just use the same analogy. I'm the manager of my football team, right? So I'm the coach and it's up to me to bring in the team that I want to build my team by. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm a winner. So I want to play in the Premier League. I don't want to play a Sunday pub team. I don't want to be the manager of a Sunday pub team. I want to be the manager in the Premier League because my business that's the vision for the business. I want it to be the best. But if you're bringing in through your own transfers and your own choices, I'm going to bring this team player into my team, but they're a pub team player or they are a Conference League player, but you're expecting them to play at a Premier League standard, then guess what? It's never going to happen. And your team's going to fail, they're going to lose, and you're going to get relegated. And this is what's happening right now. You've got a choice of who you transfer into your business, but for many people, you're not bringing the right people in. You're bringing pub team players into a Premiership team. Are you with me? And that is because you've not established the rules, which is, number one, this is the type of person that I need to bring into my business. I don't need another joiner. I don't need another plasterer. I don't need another sparky. I don't need another plumber. I don't need another scaffolder or bricky. I don't need another tiler. What I need a joiner that can run jobs. I need a joiner that can use ServiceMate. I need a joiner that's tech savvy. I need a joiner that's got high standards. I need a joiner that's brilliant at time communication. I need a joiner that's great with customers. That's what you're looking for, not just a joiner. Because I can get you a joiner tomorrow, but he'll be a pub team player because they're all the ones that are looking for work. But if you want the Premier League player, you're looking for all of those standards, aren't you, to bring into your business? And if you do bring a load of Premier League players in and you establish the rules of the game that when they cross the white line, if the ball goes out, it's a throw-in. If you get brought in down in box, it's a penalty. If you do a bad tackle, it's a yellow card. If you do two of them, you get a red card and you're off. So on that pitch, there's a referee reffing the game. They've got rules that they have to abide by to win the game. But what you're doing is perhaps not bringing in the Premier League players, and what you're certainly not doing is establishing the rules of your game. In other words, when you work for me in my business, these are all the things you can do, and I'm expecting you to do. These are all the things you can't do, and I do not want you doing. And oh, by the way, if you break my rules more than 3 times, you're out. Now, are you explaining all that? Are you bringing Premier League players in and sitting down with any tradesperson that you bring into your business? Or any marketing company that you bring into your business, or any health and safety company, or any accountant into your business, and you establish the vision. You then explain what the mission is, how you're going to get there. You then share the culture. These are my standards, values, morals, and beliefs that you've got to abide by, because I want another 5 of me. And oh, by the way, this is what you can do and I want you to do in my business, but this is what you can't do, and please don't do that, because if you keep doing that, the wrong ones, this is the end outcome. And they're what I call the 4 foundations to building a team. And if you're not doing that, you're going to have problems with your team. They'll want babysitting. They'll be on the phone every 5 minutes. They'll be upsetting customers. The jobs will be dragging on. They'll be taking the piss. They'll be getting there late. They'll be finishing early. They'll be having an hour for the lunch instead of half an hour for the lunch. They'll be playing on the phones all day. They'll be sat on watching TikTok. This is what's happening in most trades businesses. Why? Because you haven't built the ultimate team. And if you end up with a team that is not making you profit or not saving your time, then what's the point of employing them in the first place? The only 2 reasons why you bring a team member in is to save your time and make your money. That's it. Are you with me? So with that in mind, I'm going to suggest 2 podcast episodes that I want you to go and check out. The first one is episode number 8. Episode number 8. And this is called Setting Your Boundaries and the Rules of the Game with Your Team. Just like we've just established now, you need to set them boundaries up front. Episode number 8. The next one is episode number 15. Because in episode 15, I cover how to build a trustworthy, reliable team that's going to help you to scale your business to achieve time and financial freedom. And what I've just briefly shared with you now, I cover off in those 2 episodes. So that's episode number 8 and episode number 15. Now think about what we've just covered, right? If you're building, growing and wanting to scale a business, number 1, you've got to have a growth mindset. You cannot implement what I've just shared with you now with the mindset, the drive, the passion, the determination, the hunger, the motivation, the energy that you've got now. It's got to go up tenfold. And how you do that is by working and developing on you, your mindset and your personal development. That's the foundation to all of this. If you don't do that, you're never going to get your business to where you want it to be because you can't cope. You'll not be able to cope with the stress, with the growth, with the fear of the unknown. You'll not be able to reach your full potential because you've not invested into you first before your business. But when we do that, the next thing is, right, let's get these marketing strategies in place. Let's get generating vetted leads from our target market by doing things different to what our competitors are doing. Step number 3, when the leads come in, they need to go straight into an automated system, saving you time and allowing you then to put the systems in ready to scale. Number 4, when the leads come in, we know we're going to be making money because we've learned how to price jobs, we've learned about us profit margins, we've learned all the numbers in the business, and now we're starting to make money and building wealth and assets. Then we move on to your team. Your team is at that point the final part of the jigsaw where you bring a team in because you've got everything else in place. And your team is now going to help you grow and scale that business, and you're going to leverage other people's 168 hours in their week to help you to achieve time and financial freedom. Now, remember what I said at the beginning of this episode. I'm not wanting to overwhelm people and add more noise to an already noisy, mindset that you might have currently got. The purpose of this episode is to free up a little bit of headspace for you to go, right, I get it, Craig, and I know I need to work on all these 5, but I can't work on all 5 at the same time. I haven't got the time, I haven't got the head capacity and the space in my head to do all that. Right, I'm not asking you to do all that. All I'm saying is, what area of your business do you need to focus on first? Is it mindset? Is it marketing? Is it systems and time? Is it finances, or is it your team? What's giving you the problems? What's the challenge? What's keeping you awake at night? What's worrying you? What's stressing you? It'll be one of those 5 areas for sure. Right, work out which one of that is. Then go and listen to the 2 episodes in each one of those areas and just implement the strategies in those 2 episodes. That's all I'm asking you to do. It's really simple and really easy. We're taking a big challenge and we're breaking it down into its small common denominator. And this is how we can start to grow our business without the burnout, without the overwhelm, and without all the confusion and all the noise and clutter that we've currently got floating around inside our heads, clogging up all that important headspace that we're going to need to free up. Now, what I'd love you to do from this episode is either come into our free Trades Freedom Club Facebook group and community, or if you're a member of our Growth Club, come into our Growth Club community and tell me that you've listened to episode number 104. And out of these 5 areas, which area are you going to start working on first. And if you're not in our Facebook group or you're not a member of our growth club, if you look in the show notes and the comments and the description of this episode, there's a link back to join our Facebook group and community or join our growth club if that's what you wanted to do to take it all to a new level. But either way, we've got to get rid of that overwhelmed feeling that we sometimes get running a business, and we've got to slow it all down and get laser focused and get some clarity on what is the pain, what is the thing that's itching and irritating us the most, and just get laser focused on sorting that problem out first. Everything else has to slow down and stop to allow you the time and the headspace to get that challenge over the line. And once that one's over the line, we can have a breather, we can take stock, and then we look at the next area that's given us the challenge, and then we work on that. But what we're not going to do is get overwhelmed thinking there's all this stuff that needs doing. I don't know where to start, so I'm not going to start anything because I don't know where to start. I've just given you the strategy on where you need to start. So I'll catch up with you on next week's episode. But remember, the business is never the problem. The problem is always the mindset of the business owner. I'll meet you at the top. Thank you.